Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. Here we go. Here is your warm-up. Simplify and using the following using scientific notation. See what you guys can do with that. You'll want to pause the video and do it because we're going to only work on this in class for another about 45 seconds, and then we'll be going. Hmm? Oh, did it say?
Yeah, it says 9/9.
Oh, whoopsies. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay. Alrighty, everybody. Can I get you back up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. Alrighty. Get that going. Paste that. Alright, let's do it, guys. Which of these would you like to talk to me about? Let's see here. Nobody at table G. Nope. Nobody at C1 at the moment. Let's see. Nope. E4 is always empty, aka the worst seat in the house. Try to keep that empty as much as you can. There we go. Andy. Andy, which one of these do you want to do with me? Let's do number 1. So how did you handle number 1?
So I first did 4.7 divided by 5.
Okay, so you do 4.7 divided by 5. Excellent, but we got to do this first. TI SmartView TM emulator software for the TI-30X/TI-34 multi-view. TM calculators, Texas Instruments, validating software license. Dot, 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 dot. It's still waiting, and we're just going to wait here for, there we go. Okay, 4.7 divided by 5. 4.7 divided by 5. 0.94. So that becomes 0.94. And then go ahead, Andy. What would you do then? Now, a lot of people, when they do this, Andy, get 0.94 times 10 to the 0. Yeah, that's right. People get that a lot. Now, that's not correct. So when I say teach, I want you to say, okay, will you talk to your partners? Why do you think people get that? And what would you tell someone who is getting that to help them understand why that's incorrect? Teach! Okay. Can I get you back up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Let's see if I can get a little bit of help out there. Ellie, why is that incorrect? Oh, so it's not in scientific notation, you're right. But this 0 is actually incorrect. Like, it's mathematically incorrect at the moment. Why is that? Very good. Yeah, since this is 18 minus negative 18, that should be to the positive 36, if I'm not mistaken. Excellent. Now, Ellie, you're absolutely right. That's not in scientific notation, which, by the way, this question right here, this is a level 3, okay? Doing this without any adjustment, that's a level 2. A level 1 is forget this problem. I would just give you 0.94 times 10 to the 36, and you had to adjust it into scientific notation. Yeah. What's that? Level 2 is this, but with no adjustment. So, like, you'll do this division, and it'll come out 9.4 times 10 to the whatever. It'll come out without needing any adjustment. Okay. So, Ellie, how could I adjust this? Yeah, which would turn it into 9.4 times 10 to the what? To the 35th. Very good. Since positive 36 wants to take that decimal and move it 36 spaces to the right, if you move it one space to the right, it has one less space to go. That's sort of the way that I think about it. It's almost like your decimal's dancing around. Here you are. It wants to take you 36 spaces to the right. So in order to make it in scientific notation, you have to take one step to the right. How far do I have to go to get to the same place? 35 steps. Yes, go ahead, Hugh.
So even if there's like a number there, then you still move that first.
Well, so in order to be in scientific notation, which by the way, on your self-assessment, there's a level 0, which doesn't show up on your skill check, which is just, is this value in scientific notation? There are 3 things that have to be true in order for something to be in scientific notation. The first one, and the most important, is the first digit, the first non-zero digit, has to be in the ones place. So if you look at this guy, 0.94, the first non-zero digit is 9, which is in the tenths place. Since that's not the ones place, I have to adjust it. The reason this is in scientific notation is because it's in the ones place. The other things you have to worry about, guys, is the exponent has to be an integer. Again, I had some people actually try that when we were adding in my third period, which I thought was interesting. When they tried adding this, they thought maybe you take the average of these two. So they thought that maybe it would be 32 times 10 to the 22.5. Which I'll tell you right now is, I love the idea, but it doesn't work out that way. That's incorrect. Because in order to be and also in order to be in scientific notation, this number needs to be an integer, a whole number, or the opposite of a whole number. And then the other thing that has to be true is that number has to be 10. I had some other people try where they said, well, what if we did, like when we did 2 times 10 to the third plus 3 times 10 to the third, they thought maybe that would be 6 times 20 to the third. That's okay. It was an idea. It was an idea. It didn't work out, and we showed why it doesn't work that way. Plus, that's definitely not in scientific notation because that number has to be a 10. Are you guys okay with that? Andy, you had something you wanted to say.
What does level 4 look like?
I'll talk about so a level 4. We might as well just talk about it now since we're going to talk about it afterwards. So we'll just switch it around. A level 4 is basically a story problem. Think about the story of Moo and Bossy and Bessie. Okay, but it'll be a little more complicated. So like imagine a story like this. You've got Bossy, Bessie, and Moo, and what you're doing is you're going to package them in since it's so expensive that we talked about, that you're going to put them in packages that are 4.8 times 10 to the negative 8th grams a piece, and you're going to sell each package for $1.50. How much money are you going to make? That's the kind of question you got to worry about. So you're going to be adding values in scientific notation, subtracting values in scientific notation, multiplying by things that aren't in scientific notation, which we can talk about if you want to talk about that for a second. But let's get on to number 2 here. Number 2. Or 3. I don't mind which one you help me out with. Which one do you want to help me out with? Let me just draw a card and see who's out there. There we go. Ani, which one do you want to do with me? I believe, as the kids say, let's go! All right, let's hit it, Ani, sorry. Pronounced it wrong. Go ahead.
So since they have different types of exponents,
That's right.
so basically what I did, I moved the decimal over one spot, so it'll be 80.
Aha.
8 times 10 to the 20.
Perfect.
4 times 10 to the 22nd.
Yeah, so this decimal here needs to be dragged 23 spaces to the right. So if you drag it one to the right, now it only needs to be moved 22 spaces. That turns it into 80 times 10 to the 22nd minus 4 times 10 to the 22nd. Go ahead, Ani.
So then 80 minus 4 times 10 to the 22nd. And then that would give me 76 times 10 to the 22nd. But that's not scientific notation. So the other way decimal one space to the left, then you get 7.6 times 10 to the 23rd.
Awesome. How many of us got 7.6 times 10 to the 23rd? Let me actually write that correctly, shall I? How many of us were able to get that there? How much were able to get that? Excellent. And then, did someone do that a different way? Did someone do that a different way? How did you do it, Ellie? On the 4. It turns out it doesn't matter which way you move it. Ellie's way, when you move the smaller one to match the bigger one, you're less likely to need to adjust afterwards, but they both work out just fine. Both methods are perfectly reasonable and perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
So my method was typing the whole thing into my calculator.
Sure, that's great, but I'll tell you right now, guys, you have to watch out for that because any Slight mistypes means you're going to miss the problem. And the truth is, guys, how many of us find this process really not that bad? Like, it's not that bad, right? Like, don't try to rely on it too much, because I worry about really understanding the thing. I can't stop you from doing it, because you can use that on the RISE test, so you can use it on my test. Hey, that rhymed, but that didn't. All right, let's see here. Can I get a little help with, here we go, number 2 from Kale. Kale, how would you handle number 2?
Well, first off, I would multiply the two non-10.
Yeah, so negative 5.1 times 2.9. That's 51. It's 2.9, and I get myself negative 14.79.
And then you would add negative 4230 to that stuff.
So it's negative 12, I think, isn't it?
Yep.
Times 10 to the power of negative 12.
Now, that's not the scientific
Correct.
notation, so you would move the decimal one place to the left, and that would turn into times 10 to the negative 13th, I want to say, or 11.
It is one of those. It is one of those, for sure. So here's how I remember it, Kale. This negative 12 wants to take this decimal and move it 12 spaces to the left. So if we move one space to the left, how many spaces does that decimal, the green one here, how much further does that green one have to go to make it to the same place? 11. See what I mean? That's probably the best way to think about it, in my opinion, because it really cuts to what's going on there. All right. Yeah, out of context, that's a fantastic sentence. I've got googly eyes if they can help anyone in my pod. Mr. McGowan. Yeah. No, I don't need any. I'm just fine. And, he means teachers in our pod. Anyway, guys, it's the 56th day of school. Do you know that humans have 56 olfactory receptor families? Meaning that everything we smell comes in some combination of 56 kinds of smell. Yeah. So, like, there's 56 identifiable types of smells that your nose can pick up, and everything's like a combo of those. It turns out there's a whole section of olfactory receptors that are for fish-like receptors, like things that smell kind of like fish. Yeah, there should only be one of those, and preferably not near a microwave. Happy National, well, it's National Microtia Awareness Day. Does anyone know what microtia is?
No idea.
It's a genetic disorder. Yeah, go ahead, William. Wow, deep. Yes, and indeed it is microtia. You got it, William. You nailed it. Does anyone know what that is, though? It's a real thing. So microtia is a genetic disorder where a person's ear is, one or both ears, when they're born, is either underformed or completely non-formed. So a lot of people have it and don't even know it because, like, what? One of your ears is, like, a centimeter smaller than the other one. Like, nobody notices or cares. Now everyone's going to go home with a ruler and be like, huh? Oh, is it me? Is it me? But some people are born, like, completely without an ear or, like, even an ear canal. And it's a thing that can happen. It's a thing that can happen. So it's just a day to be aware of it. Just a day to be aware of it. All right. There it is. Who knew? All right. Okay, James, what's our first essential question today? How can I prepare for tomorrow's skill check? On scientific notation. There we go. While you're writing that down, guys, literature. Bod lives out his days amongst ghost schools, and of course is guardian Silas in this Neil Gaiman book. That is indeed the Graveyard Book. The Graveyard Book. That's good. It's really good. I was like, I got so many wife points when I was watching Mr. Snyder's class because they had that book and they were like listening to it. They were listening to Neil Gaiman read it, and I was listening to like one chapter and I was like, well, I know what I'm getting the missus for her birthday, and she loved it. Now she like reads all things Neil Gaiman. She loves this guy. Yeah, go ahead, Hugh. It's really good, right? It's really good. I really like that one. And then holidays, that is indeed Easter. Yay! You know what? I think I did a better job on the bunny than I did on the egg. Like, I'm actually surprised. Like, I feel like that's a marketable cartoon character right there. Like, I need to call up somebody who needs a bunny mascot and be like, I've got a mascot for you.
That egg looks like it's upside down.
Well, I mean, who's to say that eggs aren't put in the carton upside down?
Oh. Oh. It looks upside
Nah,
down.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But anyway, can I get you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Okay. So guys, like I said, level 1 is you're able to adjust values into and out of scientific scientific notation. Like if I give you 0.05 times 10 to the negative 8, you're able to turn that into scientific notation. Level 2 is you're able to divide and multiply values in scientific notation that don't require any adjustment. Level 3 is you're able to multiply, divide, and add values in scientific notation, and subtract, that do require adjustment. Everyone's going to get one addition or subtraction problem, so just be aware of that. And then level 4 is where you have to manipulate values in scientific notation. Now, I never showed you how to do this, and normally that's fine on a level 4, but let's just talk about it really quickly. So let's say that you have, I don't know, no, you know what you have? You have, got a pencil? 3.8 times 10 to the 13th copies of Frozen on DVD. Okay? You have 3.8 times 10 to the 13th copies of Frozen on DVD is what you've got. That's what you have. Now, guys, do you think you're going to be able to sell those for very much?
No, yes.
Well, how about, are you think you're able to sell one for very much? No, nobody has DVDs anymore. Everyone's got it on Disney Plus, so what do they care? What do you guys think you could get for these?
Maybe $1.50 each.
$1.50 a piece?
No, 20 cents.
20 cents? You know what? Let's call it 20 cents. I think I like 20 cents. I like 20 cents. Hey, just because it's a super annoying amount of money, especially if you don't carry change, because then people who have a quarter, they're like, can I buy it? And I was like, I don't have any change. You're going to have to scare up 2 nickels, 4 quarters, or heaven help us, 20 pennies. Or a mix thereof. Anyway, so 20 cents. So if we're going to sell every single one of these, how much money do you think we're going to get? What can I do with these numbers to find out how much I can sell all of my 3.8 times 10 to the 13th copies of Frozen on DVD? And that's not Blu-ray, by the way. That's DVD. See what you guys can do, and here we go. You want to buy a DVD? Teach. Frozen 1. Can you buy Frozen 2 on DVD? It has, but does anyone it's kind of like, at some point they're going to stop manufacturing them. It's kind of like they don't put anything on VHS anymore. Yeah. They're out. They're ready to go. Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. Those are great. Okay. Can I get you guys back up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? All right. Isaac, how would you manage this? Okay. So what did you type into your calculator? Yeah, so times 0.2. Now here's the thing, guys. A lot of people kind of overcomplicate problems like this. Like they'll either turn this into scientific notation as 2 times 10 to the negative 1 and solve it that way. You sure could, but I mean, it doesn't matter that it's not in scientific notation because technically it's 0.2 times 10 to the 0. Are you guys okay with that? Like I wouldn't expect you to write that, but what's 10 to the 0? 1, and 0.2 times 1 is 0.2, right? Yeah. So if that's okay, that's okay. So if you do 3.8 times 0.2, 3.8 times 0.2, I get 0.76. Now, you could do 13 plus 0, but again, we don't even need this thing. So that would just be times 10 to the 13th. Since there's no power button. Yeah. So we grab that decimal, move it over here, and that would be 7.6 times 10 to the 12th. Yes.
On the calculator and already put it inside.
That's okay. All right. Well, that's part of it. In a level 4 problem, it would have been something like you have 3.8 times 10 to the 13th copies of Frozen on DVD. You have 2.5 times 10 to the 10th copies of the Lorax. Yes, absolutely. And you're gonna bundle them, so sell them as a duet. No, that's actually way harder than I would think. Never mind. But you sell them for like 20 cents a piece. There'd be one more step on a level 4. Anyway, when I say teach, I want you to say, okay, will you guys go ahead and pull out your Chromebooks, and you guys can go ahead and work on 6.9. That is 6.9 Scientific Notation Review. I'll be around to help you.